Welcome to Facebook for the Blind, your look at the downfall of Western civilization through the best memes we can find each week. Ladies and gentlemen, both and neither and all various arrangements, welcome to that time of the week that we like to celebrate. Facebook for the Blind, a show for the visually and Facebook impaired. I am your never humble host, joined by no one right now. No one has joined me yet. I normally parade out a comic cavalcade of mental illness equipped with memes and limited coping skills. And we juggle that around into a sort of a comedic bouillabaisse. And then we vomit it back out onto all of you live on Zoom in a thing we like to call Facebook for the Blind. So normally this is where I would do the intros, but there are no intros. So we have to head into what, you all know and love. I can see TD already clenching up. like, like it's
you're awfully desperate if you're mentioning me clenching this early.
I'm just saying I could feel the pucker from this side of the screen, sir.
Fair enough.
But we have a patented, trademark, copyrighted, absolutely essential part of every single show. You know what, you love it. I'm talking about the depressing news.
Oh.
Well, guys, look, lots of absolutely normal stuff has happened since the last time we talked. Lots of normal, ordinary stuff happening today. Trump keeps saying he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize for bombing Iran for some reason. He's also very upset because as soon as the operation happened, right? You're seeing the wrong thing. Oh, and so you are.
I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, I don't either. Last week's introduction was I'm your humble host, Eric Sizemore, and I am full of rage and not sure if this is the best way to cope with that.
I mean, that's fair.
Who the hell else is going to appreciate my writing, TD? You are. You're gonna.
Hey, so what happened in the news?
Okay. So yeah, the Trumpster there. I don't know what to call him anymore. This, that soggy circus peanut in a suit that shows up on your TV sometimes. This guy with the pucker. He just kept saying he wanted a Nobel Peace Prize for bombing Iran, and then he got really upset because as soon as it happened, he said mission accomplished. You know what I mean, or whatever. I mean, he was like, yeah, it was a total success because hubris never goes before the fall. So that was just kind of funny there. Sources were telling CNN that an early assessment was that, even though they said, oh, they've destroyed his nuclear facilities and has bombed him back to the Stone Age, it turns out more like they set him back a week or two. Something like that, basically, is what they were saying. And a lot of people saying that, well, here's another weird one, and I'm super curious about this. Here's a headline. Trump says that he gave Iran permission to bomb the U.S. base in Qatar. And the rest of the headline is, and well, mostly crickets. Because raise your hand if this is the first time you're freaking hearing this crap. At a press conference, he said, we're going to shoot them. Is 1 o'clock okay? And I'm like, it's fine. And everybody was emptied off the base so they wouldn't get hurt except for the gunners. Because, screw the gunners. So there's something to think about going in on it. But something fascinating happened in my feeds and whatnot, because somebody said, "Hey, man, he let the Iranians retaliate and save face," and it turned into a shitstorm. There were a whole lot of people who were just like, if Joe Biden did this, you have the same reaction? And he's just like, yeah, probably. He's just like, look, I oppose Trump, but to do so 100% diametrically on every level, on every little thing, would make me both a mere contrarian and also easily manipulated. And I was like, oh my God, I want that on a t-shirt. Uh, so, it was interesting. I mean, it was a fun little debate about how to conduct warfare, which I was just absolutely stunned at. So I don't know, but turning away from war, because, there's got to be funnier stuff than that. Uh, Zoran Momdani has now clinched the Democratic nomination for New York City mayor. I'd like to point out that I believe 33 states have fewer people in them than New York City. So the mayor is kind of a big deal. I'm loving it. I am just loving it. I mean, a guy is out there saying, I'm a democratic socialist, which, although on the other hand, though, I've started to think about it and I was like, I am kind of a socialist hipster. So now am I going to have to like be a communist now? I don't know how that works. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to do. Man, I used to be like a socialist, before anybody was really into it. um, Speaking of this, in praise of Zoran, I don't know if you know about this, but new TikTok sensation Hope Walls, daughter of Governor Walls up there in Minnesota, has been doing some TikToks just brilliantly. She's basically like, yeah, Dorhan won because he promised like free buses and free childcare and freezing rents. And people like freezing rents and children getting care and free lunches for kids in school because people like that. And like Laura Ingraham lost her crap. Laura Ingraham like was just like, oh my God, that killed brain cells listening to it, and socialism and what it was just stale, stupid jokes and whatnot. So, but Hope just clapped back and was absolutely freaking amazing. Uh, anyway, and actually responded to Ingram too, and basically said, "I'm sorry for you." Oh God, it's quite brilliant. I highly recommend checking it out.
Round one.
Meanwhile, many of the intelligence sources, of course, repeated that they weren't really sure they had done much. That the bombing of Iran had not really set back production at all. That some people saying that it couldn't have destroyed any core components because it just didn't penetrate deep enough to be effective. To which Stormy Daniels replied, "You too." Because Iran said Trump's assault on its bunker failed to reach adequate depth to accomplish anything. Stewart laughed at my joke. I'll just tell you that. I'm saying that. Ha ha ha. I'm not gonna do that one. Palantir, illustrated here as a giant octopus with its tentacles into tax forms, the IRS, HHS, DHS, Department of Education, and your bank account. Uh, has a quote from Alex Karp, Palantir's co-founder and CEO. Says, "We love disruption, and whatever is good for America will be good for Americans and do very good for Palantir. And I think you've got it exactly right. Disruption, at the end of the day, exposes things that aren't working. There'll be ups and downs. This is a revolution. Some people can get their heads cut off." And I would just like to state for the record that normally Facebook for the Blind is all in favor of heads getting cut off. But I don't like where this guy's talking about it. I would say go ahead and follow hashtag impeach President Thiel. And if you don't know about Peter Thiel, good for you.
Mm.
Palantir is terrible. Moving on, the Supreme Court justices are arguing with each other, and that's always fun. SCOTUS fight! That's pretty fun. Basically, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is saying across the nation, judges are facing increased threats, not only physical violence, but also professional retaliation just for doing our jobs. Attacks are also not isolated incidents. Basically, she's saying there's a conspiracy of terrible people. Says rather, the threats and harassments are attacks on our democracy, on our system of government, and they're ultimately risk undermining our Constitution and the rule of law. And these guys were literally, I've seen this in better analysts than I have. The judges are writing like nasty notes back and forth to each other. It's been pretty crazy. Oh, here's something you might not have heard in the mainstream press here. Paris is drowning in trash because the trash men have gone on permanent strike against the retirement increase. Now, meanwhile, the French's energy bills are 50% of ours. They retire 6 years earlier, and their pension is 2 times higher. And yet, still, they will strike. Why are they better off? Because they strike. If you're not disrupting the status quo, your protest is performative. Just remember that. If anybody's out there knitting a pink hat. Anyway, I thought it was really good. Friend of the show, Michael said, the French have striking down to a science. And he posted this clip of the French with this cool little rail car thing on train tracks. And it's like a barbecue. And they're like marching with it, but they got fire out there in the rain. I mean, I'm certain they're French. They're cooking something good. I bet that smells amazing right now. That is like striking, and they've got the streets blocked. I think the streets are blocked. I don't know. They're doing a bang up job. Anyway, so take notes, America, because the Senate Republican tax and spending bill has been passed by the Senate today. They used to call it the BBBL, but then they found out that that's actually an acronym for a Brazilian butt lift. So they didn't want people referring to the bill as a Brazilian butt lift bill. And people called it
Cowards.
the Big Deficit Increasing Bill Act, Trump's tax scam. But I believe I settled finally on the bubonic butt plague bill.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, sticking with that. Sticking with that. Yeah. The businessman, because these guys are such brilliant businessmen, Elon, his company, Tesla's robotaxi, is causing chaos in Austin. It has been drifting lanes, braking suddenly, and leaving riders mid-road. How would you like that? Your robotaxi just stops in the middle of 57. Like,
Bruh.
do you get out? Like, what is the proper protocol in that situation? I just thought it was the craziest thing. I don't know. Do you think Elon's testing it out in one of them Democrat-run cities to, I don't know, make people? I don't know. I can't even play. I can't gameplay this. There's no 3D chess. It's just they're just idiots. That's it. That's my theory. Billionaires are idiots. They do dumb things. They break stuff because they don't care and they're dumb. Moving on. Here we see a picture of an RV loaded with masked tactical troopy guys. They have little signs. Their signs say police, and I can't read what it says in the middle of that. Something in yellow. Once
Yeah,
again.
I can't. Yeah.
But Fight for a Union says, courtesy NBC News, a heavily armed and masked detail from Homeland Security and Border Patrol raided a Home Depot at Cypress Park, Los Angeles, and they detained day laborers. So if you're wondering who we're being kept safe from, it's Home Depot day laborers. And it says, when your government spends tens of billions dressing up like Army Special Forces to terrorize immigrant workers while they cut health care for 16 million people, it's time to get a new government. And yeah, I would like to speak to a manager. I am not happy with my purchase. It is not performing as was promised. And T, do you see this RV?
Yeah.
I was so hoping you'd be on the show because, bro, first thought. Remember Bill Murray in Stripes with the urban
Fuck yeah. Army training, sir.
Gentlemen, this is the EM-50 Urban Assault Vehicle.
The Russian guys are like, can you imagine taking that one to Minsk? You could really
Yes.
cruise with that in Minsk. Also, if you're not familiar with the big bubonic butt plague of a bill, this is the chart of the $930 billion in Medicaid cuts that was proposed and the $910 billion in tax breaks. We have Medicaid in green and tax breaks for corporations in red with a white stripe in the middle. And I was like, yeah, but at least it looks like Italy. And that's fun. Look at that.
Oh, mamma mia.
I know, right? Now I'm thinking about marinara sauce. Now I want an order of fried ravioli. See, life hands you lemons.
Nah, man, now I want freaking lasagna. Thanks, dude.
And we usually like to close out with a heartwarming animal story. And this was crazy. National Geographic lovers, nature, animals, and ancient history. And if you're not joined into that group, that's fine. Neither did I. It says, after a long, tiring day helping out at the sanctuary, Dolph laid down for a quick rest beneath a shady tree. And when he opened his eyes, he was met with a heartwarming surprise. Cheetah. Cheetah just peacefully sleeping beside him. Just
Heartwarming is the wrong word. I would have shit myself.
nuzzle. Well, he worked at this like big cat rescue place, and like those big cats are even more skittish than the cats you know in the human worlds. You know what I mean? That
Fair
we
enough.
these
I
guys are
still
like,
might have peed a little. I still might have peed a little.
but so check it out. The rest of the story was basically, I guess, Dolph here, who's like a volunteer at the reserve where they, rescue and help out big cats. He had just lost his wife. His wife had passed away, like, within the week. He laid down to take a nap, and it was like the cheetah knew he was hurting.
And
And
now I feel bad for talking smack.
that's all right, man. Dude, it's a cheetah. Who knows how to act? I'd probably talk smack too. Anyway, that has been your heartwarming animal story, wrapping up the news, all that's worth talking about for July 1st, 2025. And now,
Hey,
and now this is the part that's getting edited out because like aren't here. The guys aren't here, and I don't know. It's making me look good. That's
right.
by the
Hey, since we're in a moment of technical delay, you want to see my birthday present?
yeah.
I say this because we're dog sitting a friend's dog until Sunday. She happens to be the half sister of my Shih Tzu Elliot. Say hello to Hermione, also known as Stink.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Now wait a minute.
Yes, this
Is that the one I met the other night out at
no,
Alto?
no. You met Elliot, her half brother.
Ah,
Like I
okay.
said, this belongs to a friend of ours, and we are keeping her for a few days. So I've been jokingly saying that I got a puppy for my birthday.
Oh, you did. You did. That's the
And
best.
she's looking directly at Mary because she loves Mary way more than me. So she's going
Sure.
back to Mary now.
Totally understand.
Did Eric sing you happy birthday?
No, he did not yet.
Man, yeah,
That shit's copyrighted.
we tried singing on Zoom and it just
It never works.
just not yeah. No, but I mean, yeah, the attempts have been made, but I'm not going to subject you to that.
That's fair enough.
Cause a feedback loop and then everybody's unhappy. In a strange twist, I'm handing it off to myself for a nice long round. Round one. Ostensibly the wholesome round. Rafter Darker says, why are all these modern O's for the Odyssey set in a high school? Where's the retelling where Odysseus is just a guy lost in an airport who keeps missing his connecting flights home due to a comical series of delays and disgruntled airline employees? Idiot commanders like the Lotus Eaters are a bunch of drunks in the airport lounge. Charbadis is the baggage carousel his suitcase gets stuck on. Calypso's Island is the TSA holding cell he gets put in for 7 hours, etc., etc. You see the vision. Hashtag the Odyssey. Tag Game on. Absolutely genius. Grilled Cheese Press says, I'd love to see this as a movie. I'd even read the book. Imagine the Odyssey of airport sagas, but who would play Odysseus? And it was like about 100,000 people were like, well, clearly Tom Hanks would play Odysseus. How is that your question? Best and worst of Twitter, too, making their first appearance in the show with a post from Jamie Morello. Says, this is officially funny, man, because Broke Dog at Duke Weiser says, her snoring wake you up at 2 a.m. You mad, but you look over and see the moonlight seeping through the window, gently illuminating her titty that done fell out of her tank top. It's like poetry. Yeah, this is, I can't believe TD.
That's pretty good.
For TD, on his birthday, I'll make a TD joke. Simon Saris has this picture, and this is really, you got to kind of zoom in here to look at it. How do I do this here? This is a car dashboard, and if we look over here, that's a little tiny snake. It's a snake poking his little head out of the vent. and this is captioned 25 minutes of Inya, and his mood is unchanged. The snake that lives in my Mazda is giving me saucy looks this morning. people were tagging various herpetologists saying, new ecosystem just dropped.
Yeah, I'm wondering what music would get it to come out of the event, like it can't come out of a pot, like the classic thing of the guy playing the flute and the snake comes out.
Yeah, but snakes don't
What
actually
would
have
get it?
ears. That's just a way
You
to
don't?
that's a way to hustle tourists.
Because they feel vibrations though.
I mean, yeah, I would have done something more sub, like something with bass.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is my thought. Friend of the show, Stephen Abram, has this post, says, "Good morning," and has a nice picture of like a cup of espresso. It says, "Some Australians summed it up nicely. Fuck, I'm glad we got the convicts and they got the Puritans." Like, ah, ah. Moving on, we have advice from Skeletor here. It says, "The tradition of not seeing a bride in the wedding dress beforehand has saved countless husbands everywhere from hours of dress shopping." I thought was pretty funny. Carl at Nightlife Mingus says, "My favorite book probably would have to be the tome, on whose fractal pages can be found each and every letter, glyph, and sigil inscribed by human hand since cognition's dawn." Adam 3 says, "Link? Question mark, question mark, question mark." Carl says, "You can only find it by getting lost in the Library of Mirrors." Now, the Library of Mirrors is a bit trickery. You got to go through the Wilderness of Mirrors and then take a left. So you clear. Best and worst of Twitter 2, making a second appearance in the show. Post from Akib Hussein has a repost from Camille Cardona. "I just found out that only 1.5% of Japan's population is Christian, and I'm heartbroken." And Orange Dweller says, "Hi, Japan's homicide rate is 0.07% per 100K. United States homicide rate is 5.7 per 100K. Japanese unhoused population in 2024, 2,800 people. United States unhoused, 650,000. Japan also has one of the highest food security rates in the whole big world. Meanwhile, the U.S., 18 million people are food insecure. Maybe this Sunday you can ask the Christians what their Bible says about poor people and murder. Sorry about your heart." Might have gone maybe in the irreverent round. Supernatural Fandom Family. And if you're not following Supernatural Fandom Family, I mean, that's fine. I didn't join them. Guy Crystal Workmaster says, "Saw this in my feed, had to share." Got a post here of doing 90 miles per hour in central London. Says, "Within 15 minutes, I had found 2 different grown adult men who have dating app profiles that say their worst fear is, werewolves. One was funny. 2 is like, hang on, do we actually have a werewolf problem in this town?" "Jesus Christ, I just found a 3rd guy who's afraid of werewolves. What the fuck is happening here?" So, so the werewolves of London are still freaking them out. I got 2 more here. Gonna hand it back to Jack. Friend of the show and founding Zaddy, George Hussein Cruikshank, has this post here of his avatar sniffing a rose, and it says, "Posting big things coming soon in the group chat, but it's just about me masturbating." You're groaning, but it's funny. And finally, here, friend of the show, Evan, has this post with a picture of Bezos and his new bride after their $50 bajillion wedding. It says, "When you own Amazon, but you buy your wife from Temu."
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, that wraps up my really ridiculous round 1. Handing it over to you for a quick 6 or whatever you want to do, Jack.
I'll just do a quick 6. That's all I was planning on doing. Let's see. Let's share this screen. Get started. Okay, already a warning on the phone. That's great. Okay. I've done this before.
Did you
Hold
sound like
on,
me?
let me see. Tell me I need it. Sound MS Paint like oh oh, is it coming up? No. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Go back to you for another round. I'll figure this out.
You're hilarious.
Some
I love it.
reason, all of a sudden now my computer can open pictures without an app. I don't know how technology has
Dude,
regressed
dude,
this hard.
you are making me look so good right now.
I know. The fact that the Gen Z kid can't do this is
Jack, you gotta
incredible.
do this. Jack, you gotta do this every week. You gotta do it. And I need all the
All
I don't
right,
know
open
why. Where's the
with
button?
Google
I
Chrome.
did this
Okay, there we
last
go.
time. Oh, are you gonna share now?
Hold on.
We're gonna overshare now.
Okay, we got this. I got this. Ah, it's not okay.
Should I be encouraging you? You
Oh
got
my God.
this.
All right. Okay, the way we can do this now, I figured out a way to do this. It's ridiculous. I get the Windows is objectively better, but the
You're
numerical problem on Mac.
you're on a
No.
computer, right?
Yeah, I'm on a laptop. All right.
So we just drag them into we drag them into Chrome.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm opening it with it right now is Chrome.
Yeah, you can just drag them in there.
All right. Here, I
Easy
got
as
this one. It's that old classic meme of the little baby with a little boy with a gun crying. It's captioned protagonist after brutally killing 7,455 henchmen just to stand in front of the villain and say, I can't kill him. If I kill him, I'll become just like him. I like that one. Especially true in video games. This is very true in video games. Let's see. Let's open with this is going for each one. I like this one. This one's just silly. It's one of those old, they call them, I don't know if you've encountered these, Eric. They're called Wojak memes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a guy who's crying, but with a smiling mask on, saying, haha, this character dies. And another guy is crying. He goes, no, it's captioned movie leaks. And we have another one where this is the angry video game nerd with his mouth open, shocked, and then an explosion. And that one's captioned gas leaks. Too good for the irreverent round, I guess. That'd be an
Yes.
irreverent one for sure. All right, we got this one. This one, I like this one. It's the scene from here, full screen this. It's the scene from Tropic Thunder with Robert Downey Jr. saying,
Oh yeah.
I'm a dude pretending to be a dude disguised as another dude. And it's captioned with, how did kids used to play before screens and 7-year-old me in my backyard? Dude, pretending to be disguised as another dude. You gotta rewatch that one. We used to I have a weird relationship with that movie. We had a DVD copy of it that we just never returned to a video store, and it was under a couch for years. And I'll be honest, as a 7-year-old kid, did not realize that Robert Downey Jr. wasn't a black guy.
Oh my God, that's
They
hilarious.
said Robert Downey Jr. is in Tropic Thunder. It's like, who is he in Tropic Thunder?
Holy
What are you
crap.
talking about? It's like, he's that guy. It's like, that's not Robert Downey Jr.
That's hilarious.
I like this one. It's a little goofy drawing of a guy like walking through water, and it says how it looks versus how it feels, and it's a giant robotic mech walking through
Love
the
it.
ocean.
I think from Pacific Rim, maybe.
Yes, that was very Pacific Rim.
Nice.
That was fun. That was a relatable one, especially
Very
as a
cool.
kid. All right. Got just two more coming up. Oh, this one's timely. This one's very relevant. We're on the 1st of July, which means Pride Month is over. So now companies are like this South Park guy saying the time for being gay is over. But that was a good one. Good one to do today.
Nice.
All right, final one. Final one from a quick six we got. I like this one simple. It's just a guy in an elevator, and the caption, keep scrolling, I want to go up.
So dumb.
That was very that one was very stupid. I was scrolling through past that one and I'm like, okay, that's just funny. That's just clever. It works too, because when you scroll it on your phone, it's perfect. It's like it looks exactly how you want it to. All right, that was the quick six. Back to you, Eric.
Nice. Nice. Good times. Oh, you got a golf clap from Sammy. Well done. Dude, that's high
Oh,
praise. High
so-
praise there. Yes, going into the allegedly second round, and often irreverent, brought to you by Eugene Debs at Debs eBooks. Says we have no enemies among the workers of other countries and no friends among the capitalists of any country. The workers of all countries are our friends, and the capitalists of all countries are our enemies. The class war is our war and our only war. And Eat the Rich has posted no war but class war. So. Brought to us by Eugene Debs, who always says it best. Eugene Debs, look him up. Here we have a picture of Stephen Miller and Joseph Goebbels, and it says Nazi cloning experiments did work. Trump senior advisor Stephen Miller, clone from Nazi Joseph Goebbels. This got a lot of likes on my page because I love making Stephen Miller jokes because he's a terrible, terrible person. Here we have a picture of Stephen Miller, and RCDLV says Stephen Miller looks like a guy who suggests survivors start eating plane crash casualties, even though it's only been like 20 minutes. And here we have another picture of Stephen Miller. Says Stephen Miller got into politics because his arms are too weak to strangle prostitutes. There were so many, even like Nosferatu. Roy Tapia says, "Wonder why Stephen
Jesus.
Miller as Nosferatu." You're like, wow, yeah, sure. There were tons. This one I thought was pretty neat. It was one of these fun color charts. You got 6 colored circles there, and it says, if you can't see the number, then you are. And we have dehydrated, but I can see a 4, too warm, too cold, 0, tired, 6. Oh, still upset about the fall of Constantinople. Yeah, checks out. Checks out. Checks out. It was a lot of people. A lot of people were still upset about Constantinople. And a lot of people posted they might be giants, Istanbul or Constantinople. And it was like, of course you would. Have a gay day. And if you're not following Have a Gay Day, I don't know how your days are going. But here we have a picture of a wonderfully rainbow bedecked woman with rainbow flowers on her hat, pair of sunglasses. She's got a rainbow Hawaiian lei, rainbow tutu, rainbow socks, just rainbow to the max. And she's standing next to one of these, gay haters. He's got a poster that says, "Pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall." Proverbs 16:18. She's standing there in her rainbow tutu with a sign that's pointing at him saying, "Statistically more likely to be a sex predator more than anyone here." Note that in your list of cool things to put on a sign at the next protest. Moving on, friend of the show, Jason has this exchange from Derek Guy at Dye Workwear, B Sky Social. Says, just saw a group of masked men stuffing mask ICE agents into an unmarked car who were saying, "We're ICE, we're ICE." But the abductors shouted to the crowd, "No, we're ICE." No one knew who was ICE, so no one in the crowd said anything. Jordan Falk.B Sky Social says, first they came for the ICE agents, and I didn't say anything because I couldn't tell who the fuck the ICE agents were, and I also didn't care. God, we hate Trump, and if you're not following that, I don't know where you're getting your hatred for Trump from. But here we have God, we hate Trump as this one, which is a cartoon of Obama and the orange hobgoblin in chief, and they're having an exchange, and Obama says, "Hey, Donnie, want to hear a joke? Nobel Peace Prize." "I don't get it." "That's right, bitch. You don't."
Hey.
Passed along by reliable sources in the USA. If you're not following reliable sources in the USA, I got nothing for you. I just thought it was so hilarious. He kept bitching. He was like, no, I should have gotten the Nobel. I should have gotten the Nobel Peace Prize like 4 or 5 times. At least 34, one for each felony. That's a Nobel Peace Prize, because he doesn't understand how any of this stuff works. But you should have gotten one because he said he stopped the war he did a ceasefire in India and Pakistan, to which India and Pakistan said, "What? You had nothing to do with that. None of us like you." And then you know, he thought he'd done a real big thing by tweeting, you know, at Israel. So like, you know, okay, Israel and Iran, stop, cut it out, you guys. And then they started shooting at each other again. And he felt really bad because he sucks at, you know, peacekeeping, but he still wants a peacekeeping prize. You know what he did after that, too, just to slow it all down? He tweeted this: whoever drops the next bomb is gay. And then they did anyway, because that doesn't work on him. I don't know. It's pretty funny. Friend of the show and local celebrity Jess Sliff got into an interesting round. It was funny too because Jay and Silent Bob came and did a show called the Oral Sex Tour, which was not as spelled as coolly as you'd think. And they called up Jess Sliff to get on stage and read with them, and she did a spot on Jennifer Cooley. I was really
I was there. It was very good. It was very
stunningly
good.
impressed. Well, anyway, as you can imagine, now she's kind of doxed herself to the world and somebody that she has kindly labeled. That's how diplomatic Jess is because she's quality. Bitch McGee is what she's named. She was basically promoting King of Drag and, you know, go to King of Drag viewing parties. Bitch McGee says, "How sweet. Try pussy, you sick fucks. Want to bet not one Republican patriot." Jess replies, "Bitch McGee, I tried your mom's pussy." Bitch McGee says, "Highly unlikely. Go back to smoking Carl's dick." Jess says, "Bitch McGee, Carl can confirm that we both tried your mom's pussy." And Jess said, "Apparently Carl's dick is smokable. I've been using an injection this entire time." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you slay. Since this show has kind of gone off the rails and it's just me and Jack, I'm just going to do my post with the most and call it a day. What do y'all say? Yeah, awesome. My post with the most with 10,480 shares was from Sunday Girl at Sunday Divine. Says, "First time buying fireworks, and I wasn't sure I'd pick the right ones until the salesman gave me a wink and high forward me."
Oh,
It's all worth it for Sammy's. Ah, this show has more toe and finger amputee jokes than any other online. I swear, even those petty guys we talked about before. Nobody likes the foot appendages like we do. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as I can tell, and we are really playing a legal loophole here. We have contractually obligatedly filled our terms and conditions of the show that we like to call Facebook for the Blind for July 1st, 2025. Can you believe it? To all the tens of millions of fans out there that are listening, most of whom we don't know, we love you. Mwah!
Woo! Love you, Beverly.
And then somebody usually says, "Love you, George."
I guess that was you, Eric.
Oh, yeah, it was. Best part of the show. People say, you know what your show needs? More cats. Thanks for listening to an episode of Facebook for the Blind. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.